This is RadioOnFire.com. I go by the name of Dominic K. Thank you for joining me. As you can see, I have a special guest, and I'm very glad to have you here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm April J., owner of WPBNetworks.
All right, April J. in the building. I'm glad that you're here to talk with me.
I appreciate it.
And so many things going through my mind.
Right.
Are you from Baltimore?
No, actually, I'm not. I was born in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And I moved to Baltimore when I was about 8 years old. So I actually was raised here. But yeah.
So like high school, you went to high school here?
I went to high school here. I went to Baltimore City Community College.
Okay.
Well, no, Baltimore City College. So yeah,
right.
I'm a city knight.
So like you see people with the ring.
I represent the
ring. Wonderful. So like coming up, were you shy?
You know what? It's interesting because a lot of people really don't know my background, but I grew up single child, well, only child to my mom. Me and my mom she raised me because when I said we lived in Denver, and her and my father were together for a while, and then my father ended up leaving, walking out. So, me and my mom actually were homeless for probably about a year and a half. And one morning, and then she found a place. We ended up staying in a place. We were there for about 3 months. We came home one day and she got off of work because my mom worked. She worked in a hospital. And all of our stuff, they had set all of our stuff out. So that day she just picked up whatever she could. And she said, you know what, we're going to Baltimore. And we got on a plane and came to Baltimore. And I was about 8 years old. So we stayed with my grandparents. So that was like you had to grow up real fast. So, definitely. I mean, once I got here, I was around a lot of my cousins. I was a little bit shy, though. I was a little kind of sheltered a little bit. But for the most part, I was pretty normal kid.
Yeah. And so how did you get involved in media?
Wow. I've been in real estate for over 20 some years. And one day I decided I wanted to do an online magazine. So I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine, B. West. And I actually met her through my husband. So me and her started.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So, yeah. But we started this magazine together. And finally, one day I said, you know what? I want to do an online radio station. So really didn't know how about to go, building a website, how to get to stream, anything like that. So it took me about 6 months of research. And I finally found a company that was willing to really walk me through it. And I actually learned how to build websites through just reading, going to the library, picking up books, and just kind of trial and error. And it was a lot. But once I got started, my first show, we actually had a little computer on a desk, and that's how we started WPB Radio. And the first personality I had on the air was Jammer. So he did a show. And then finally, we ended up moving over to Charles Street. We had a studio. And then we started Women's Talk, which was myself and B. West. So we started Women's Talk, and we did our first show. And we were on the air for like 3 hours. But we was talking to a lady who had lived with AIDS for over 20-something years.
Wow.
And it was just such an interesting conversation. So from there, kind of build and build and build. So, Women's Talk is basically one of the first shows on WPB Radio. And we kind of grew and ended up going into TV. So, it was a learning, very, very learning process, but it was very rewarding because, in the end, not only did we start WPB Radio, we did Hot 695, which my daughters created, and then we did the gospel station. So, it was it was very rewarding, and I really enjoyed it. So,
did you ever think that you would be on as far as the personality side, or was your plans to be the executive behind the scenes?
You know what? At first, there wasn't any plans to be behind the mic, but then I just, the more I talked with my co-host at the time, B, she, I told her, I was sitting down and I told her, I said, I really want to start this show, but I don't know how to go about it. And then we was talking. I said, you know what? You should be on there with me. And she was like, and it's kind of like, and she's like, okay, let's do it. So it was kind of started from there, but it was really like, it just kind of grew from there. So, it was a little challenging at first. And I have to say, Jammer actually really helped me a lot. I mean, he showed me how to talk on the mic. He showed me how to really be a personality. So I really have to give a lot of credit to him, really kind of taking me under his wing and really showing me the ropes. So
he's a real professional.
He really is.
If he was here, he'd probably say, "You're one of the good ones."
He
right?
would say that. He would say that. He would definitely say that.
And so your show mainly focuses on issues for women,
right?
Obviously, something near and dear to your heart.
It is. It really is.
How easy is it to talk to, I guess, people that you don't know about, like, personal things like that?
I started out talking to young girls in school, and what I learned with them is that kids are very perceptive. And they're not going to open up to you unless you open up to them. So, just talking with them and kind of telling them how I grew up, and, I'm not that much different from you. And, as that grew, then I started talking to other women and really talking to them about my experiences growing up, just kind of, marriage, kids, all of that. And I realized that there are a lot of women out there with similar stories, but from different perspectives, but we all can relate to how we really kind of deal with things or feel about things. So, I realize that there's a lot of strong women out there having to deal with a lot, especially when you have kids. So